Thomas here with Much Props, going to give you another how-to video. Today we are finishing off the PlatFXCon build that I made for that online convention a few weeks ago, and I wanted to show you the demon mask that I made, kind of a variant off of the plain one. So last week I showed you the basics of building that one mask. Today we're going to take it a step further and do some add-ons. So I've got some nice Maleficent style horns and a nice decorative jawline to put on the mask and make it into a different character. So today we are going to skip the build up to and just start from the new stuff. So if you want to see me assembling the parts together, go back to last week's video. But other than that, we're building a demon mask, so let's get to building. Here's a quick sped up version of the building of the base. To watch it in a slower speed with explanations, go back to last week's build and watch it from the beginning. The template is included for free down in the description, and the parts that I am using for this version are labeled with the word extra on them. If you decide to make one of these, please share it with me. I love seeing my templates get put to good use. I made some extra templates to layer on top of this base mask build. I have several builds with horns in them that you could use, but I made this one specifically for this mask. It's kind of a Maleficent style horn build. Traced it onto the same 6mm EVA as before and cut out one of each piece. Then flipped all of them face down and traced it a second time to get the opposite direction of the second horn. My part alignment is at the top. Hopefully this helps. I have put my contact cement on all the edges. Trusting my registration marks, I go down the alphabet and tack on each piece. I did sand the inside of the tips down just a little bit to make it easier so that they could come together into a nice point. When doing the other horn, the pieces are all backwards and in the opposite order. I usually just write the letters on the back side of my template pieces too. I did a good job of keeping everything flush, but I wanted to knock down the sharp edges, so with a stone bit on my Dremel, I rounded the edges just a little. If your seams pull apart, you could always use some super glue to close them up quick, or carefully heat up not on the seams but in the middle and bend the pieces outward to alleviate some of the pressure being put on the seam. To align the horns, I place one where I like it and trace the perimeter. Then using the seams and the registration marks as a way of judging spacing, I copy that position on the other side by eye. Once I've marked the mask, I put contact cement on both of them and then tack them permanently together. The jaw overlay is pretty simple. Tack the right and left together in the middle, mark off the area it will lay on the mask, and glue them together. I start in the middle, pulling the edges up a little bit and slowly put down each side. Once the contact cement touches, it grips hold and makes a permanent bond. You're more likely to tear the foam before you'll pull apart the glued bond. You can coax it off with a heat gun. Using my stone bit on my Dremel, I gouge out battle damage on my mask. No real rhyme or reason to where I put the marks. I spread them out and try to make them as random as I can. For the hinge points on my jaw overlay, I just cut off some small pieces of a 36mm EVA dowel and an 18mm EVA dowel and stacked them on top of each other. Did some similar battle damage as before, and it's ready for paint. 2 coats of Plasti-Dip to seal them with. That is my sealant of choice. For the last mask, I decided just to put on a solid layer of red for the face, silver for the jaw, and black for the horns. Since I was going to dirty it all up afterwards, I only put down 2 layers of each color. I took it outside and put a clear coat over my base colors, then pushed down some brown and black paint into all the cracks and crevices, then wiped a majority of it off with a paper towel to make a dirtied up monster. Since the top kind of V's down onto the forehead, I decided just to put a single horizontal piece of elastic banding for the strapping. I glue on some small pieces of 2mm EVA to the ends and then sandwich the banding between it and the mask. Thank you, Plaid, for including me in this event. I am truly honored to be in a lineup with so many great makers, and thank you to everyone who stopped in to watch this video and chat with me for a while. Hopefully you had a good time and you learned some new stuff. And we are finished. Here is the end result. Overall, this is probably my favorite one of the 3 that I made, and I would think that it would be kind of cool if you combined this build with the paint scheme from the rusted metal one that I did. I think that would definitely look cool, and it would kind of be more in my style of rusted up stuff. But other than that, I think it looks pretty awesome. You could obviously put different paint schemes on it, and even just using the horns, because these actually turned out to be some pretty nice shaped horns that you could use for other builds. But by doing this, I hope you can see that you don't have to stick to just the template that I gave, that I provide. You can add to it, put your own spin on stuff. That's what kind of makes it fun, is taking it a step further or taking it a step back and doing your own thing instead of just going off a build and building the same thing that everybody else builds. So maybe you will try and make one of these demon helmets yourselves and impress your friends with your ability to make something super creepy. I mean, maybe. You could be friendly. Maybe you'll get some, and inevitably they're going to ask you, how'd you make that? you can give them one of these, tell them much props. Definitely my favorite.
I notice when I put it on, my voice kind of deepens just a little bit, but peace out.